You heard the man. Don't look for Santa this Christmas. He ain't want the coronavirus, and he definitely don't want to be quarantined. He don't want nobody to know who he is, Remember, Santa could be your neighbor. You never may know. Coming down to the chimney late at night. And then he under the mistletoe doing all kind of things. So you gotta look out for Santa. He's not coming, he says.
You only have 153 more years before you start up on a pension.
What is this? I'm going to pension until you're 120 something. Oh gosh, man. Hey, the time in the studios of ZIZ Radio. It's exactly 1 minute down after the hour of 11 o'clock, and it's Frank and Candid time, man. The man, Mr. Blake, is in the building, and I'm sure he has some information for you today. As usual, every day he has a good topic, a new topic, and so don't forget you can call in and interact. 465-2555, or if you're calling from overseas in the US area, it's 718-577-2916. So let's get some Frank and Candid up in here, and you stick and stay right where you are.
Catch Real Talk with real people on Frank and Candid with you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Monday through Friday from 11 a.m.
It's Frank and Candid on ZIZ Radio.
Okay, good morning, folks. You'll find folks tuned into ZIZ. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasant welcome to Frank and Candid for today, Thursday, 27th November 2020. You got that right. Well, we are approaching the end of another lovely month. We are approaching the end of another month of blessings and mercies bestowed on us by an ever-forgiving, ever-loving Father. We give thanks and praise for that, and we will show our gratitude in the way we treat each other first and foremost, the way we worship Him, and we worship Him in the way we treat each other, and of course the way we take care of ourselves, especially our bodies, which are the temple of God, which are the temples of God. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today we have an open line. In other words, you're free to share with us whatever your concerns are. Ask questions. We provide answers where possible. We do necessary research and come back and give you the information, because the more information one has, the better informed his decisions are, and the more capable he is of engaging in certain actions which impact not only he himself but those around him. So we are happy to listen to you, and where necessary, like I said, we go and we delve here and dig there and investigate to get answers. Of course, we know that there are times when we invite certain individuals who represent entities which are critical for the public to be better informed about, and they promise to come in most cases and they never show up. Some of them, I must admit, are honest enough to call before the time and say whatever the reasons are, they can't make it. Others say nothing, they just have a say waiting, and they never show up. We still want to get persons from the Ministry of Health who have promised to be here, and from the Consumer Affairs Department, because we've had too many complaints, legitimate complaints if I may add, with respect to the conditions of some of our alleyways, highways and byways, or streets or roads. The health of the nation, of course, is the wealth of the nation. We've had too many complaints. We'd like to get some of them addressed by those in authority, and also very, very many complaints about prices in shops and stores and supermarkets, and how openly and frequently the regular customer, the ordinary shopper, is disadvantaged. And we'd like to know if there is really and truly a a government body charged with the responsibility to oversee these kinds of things and to give assurance to the public that their interests in that regard are being addressed. So, if you are familiar with individuals working these agencies in these government bodies or wherever, advise them that they're welcome to be part of the program, especially when they have agreed, where they would have agreed to show up and haven't. Let them know that you, the general public, are very interested in talking to them, listening to them, hearing from them. So we have a caller. Let's take him or her. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Blake.
Yes, ma'am.
And greetings. And yes, I think it's a Nevis. We have been very much blessed. And we want to give thanks to God. Thanks and praise to God Almighty. But we can't take things for granted.
Definitely.
A couple of days ago, we've had some beautiful days, including today. A couple of days ago, I went with another family member, and we took a drive along Frigate Bay. And I must say, I was horrified at what I saw. And I'm trying to figure out what it really means. We went through this strip at Frigate Bay, and we saw these humongous boulders sort of lining the shore.
Right.
And this was just a bit of amazing because it seems as though this was done. We had been advised, most of us who met swim from time to time there, during the COVID time, there was a kind of a shutdown, and then when it was opened up, we can go in the sea, but we can't, picnic on the beach and what have you. But it seems as though during that time, we are now I am getting a shock, and I'm sure there are others, when we see these big boulders. I'm not sure what they're doing there. Now, the irony of this is that I could record as a child, we only went to Connery to bathe. And this is for years. And then all of a sudden it opened, we were able to go to Frigate Bay. I didn't understand at the time the significance of that until years later. And that is that land, Frigate Bay, and this is before the acquisition of Sugar Estate land, it was owned by the Wigleys. In fact, there were 4 or 5 families that owned virtually all the land in St. Kitts and St. Kitts.
Definitely.
And the Robert Bratcher, our first national hero, his administration of the day had to buy Frigate Bay, to enable the general public to be able to access the beach there. Otherwise, you'd have had to pay 25 cents or what have you to go over there. So it became available to everybody, and I think after that the legislation was put in place so that all public beaches, the general public could have access.
All beaches are public. All beaches are public.
Yes, become public beaches. And of course we see the development over at Frigate Bay after that, but the beaches were always accessible and you could go and you could picnic there, you could do everything. So I am saying, is it that mentally we are turning back? Because I'm trying to figure out this type of development. For whom is it? Who is benefiting from this type, and what really it is? And then I looked across by the sort of southeastern end, across by the Timothy Beach area, the Timothy Beach Hotel, and I see they're doing they have broken the hillside.
Yes, right.
And then I'm wondering what they're doing there, because again, this is the beachfront. We have these environmental groups and environmental department. What is this environmental thing all about when we are seeing what is happening? And then finally, I remember some time ago someone drew my attention or brought to my attention, information-wise, something, and I sort of dismissed it. And that is when you're approaching the 3rd roundabout in Frigate Bay, just before you turn down to the Timothy Beach Hotel area. There is that nice expanse of green area where people picnic.
Call it the Frigate Bay Lawn.
The Frigate Bay Lawn.
Yes.
Someone mentioned that government is going to be doing something there, and the public will soon no longer have access to that. Now, I had dismissed it because I can't believe that would happen. It has been public access, you have the trees there and what have you. But when I see what is happening at Frigate Bay, on the so-called strip. And when you're going through that strip area, there's now some sort of a column, a sort of arch, not really a proper arch, but a sort of archway with two on either side. You have these sort of kiosk or booths, as though at some time you would not be able to go through without paying or what have you. So again, I'm saying, for whom is all of this development supposed to benefit? And we have to be very vigilant, and I believe our Prime Minister, and I'm saying this, our Prime Minister needs to keep an eye on this, because he's ultimately responsible in that the buck stops there. And he needs to be aware, if he is not, and I'm sure he would be, but he needs to be cognizant of what these things mean and what they convey. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a nice way to begin, I think. Certainly, with respect to the last point, the Prime Minister would not only be aware, I want to go further and suggest that nothing substantial, nothing serious, nothing large, nothing of any kind of macro development could occur without, not just his knowledge, but his approval. So the Prime Minister definitely should be very much au fait with what is taking place there. And it might be a good thing to raise that with him on one of his several public fora. But certainly we were told that the Frigate Bay was to undergo some nourishment, beach nourishment, whatever that means. And because that's what we were told. That information we were fed. And of course we've seen the massive boulders, and we've seen somewhat of a mini land reclamation. Seems like a pier of some sort, or a marina of some sort is being constructed. And some of us do not know the details of what is happening. We are given some superficial information, not much detail or depth, but we see it and we question what's going on. And some of the workers themselves don't seem to know why it's taking place. They're just being paid to do a job. And those who would know are not sharing information as openly as we would like. And so when our former leaders ensured that the land remain in the hands of the people and not the domain of a few privileged individuals, I think it's incumbent upon those generations of us who have come after to ensure that this remains. So if the public, in my view, if the public is going to be denied access to the Frigate Bay lawn, I think that would be a very negative development, because we know it is used for many public purposes, including family outings, exercises, church services, kite flying, and it's one of the few open public spaces, green spaces that we have available to us at the moment. So to close that off, I think would not be in the best interest of the public and the public's access to open spaces, which are so important for physical, mental, and sometimes spiritual growth and development. So I am going to take it upon myself now to investigate and ask a question or two with respect to what is driving these changes, these happenings, this development, this development in the Frigate Bay area. And of course, if we can be advised as to whether there are in fact specific plans for the frigate, what we now refer to as the Frigate Bay lawn. Thank you. All right. As now, I wanted really, honestly, to return to the discussion about men and the vexing question of men's life expectancy being shorter than women's. A caller towards the end of the show on Monday had begun to talk about the need for fasting, and I had invited him to call back the next day. But the next day there was no show. So I'm saying now, if he's listening, please call us back and share with us the information he had with respect to why people should fast, and what are the benefits to be derived therefrom. Let's take this other caller. Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Sure.
No, I was just listening to your last caller, right? And I'm glad you said what you said at the end, that there's nothing major happening in the country that the Prime Minister don't know about.
Right.
Because then these very same thing, when the Prime Minister was with the former government, I'm sure these are the same thing he heard us that were on the outside looking in complain about. Because even when they talk about putting up gates over Frigate Bay where you'll probably have to pay to go a certain place and stuff. Now you're talking about a pier. What did that sound like? People are privatized thing. That's what that is sounding like to me. And these are things that we complain about when we're on the outside looking in. So I don't see now why we should be allowing these things to take place. It's like a cycle that just people complain, and when we out we against it, but when we get in it's like, okay, yeah, we do it. They're not gonna say nothing because we're with them now. I don't understand, but in any case, it is what it is, and it's up to the people of Essex. Either sit back and just let the government, because you vote for them or you're backing them, that don't give them the right to just do things. Because for me, if you was against it before you get in, you should be against it still. In this case, you have a good day.
Thank you. As usual, I just love to hear from my friend here. Well, we know that unfortunately, I think a thing is right based on who does it. We have a caller? Hello? Hello? Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
The first caller mentioned about the boulders on the beach, right?
Yes.
But below the boulders, there's something like a little pool, a little pond or pool.
Yes, I've seen that too.
And the boulders, to me, the boulders let me look safe. Because I think they should put in some mortar or something. That's what you call it. Where some little cement inside the holes.
Well, we don't know if the boulders are going to stay there or if they're there temporarily, because I've seen some moved from off the shore itself into the sea, into the water.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what's going to happen, what the plans are. Okay. But I know they were all first on the shore itself, on the sand, and now I see some being moved into the water itself. So, like I said, we need information. I think it's only fair and correct that the people be informed. I mean, I'm sorry, you don't have to agree with me, but that's my view. I think, not only because we are a democracy, but I think in any country, anywhere, any facility like that to which the public has access and the public has a right to access, any kinds of development that is going to affect the quality of that access and the ability to enjoy the facilities, we should know, so that we can govern ourselves accordingly. In fact, the question is, why aren't the people, and I'm not referring to St. Kitts, of course, I'm talking about around the world, including large countries, medium-sized countries, and little small countries like ourselves. Why aren't we consulted more often with respect to certain courses of action? If one of the definitions of democracy is the rule of the majority, why aren't we consulted at all? We just are told of certain activities, certain developments, without seeking our consent. Let's see what this caller says. Hello? Hello?
Sana,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
man, yup, nasty, man.
Sorry? Hello? Okay, we lost him. Okay, yeah, talk to us about what you think. Right, and I was saying I would have liked to continue the discussion with respect to why men have shorter lifespans than women. The life expectancy for men is almost always shorter than that of women. Now, somebody spoke about diet, but I seem to believe that apart from, let's take this caller. Hello?
Blakey,
Yes, sir.
the ballers, them, how they look to me on the beach, like they're only packing them there temporarily,
Right, that's my impression.
right? So that's what I got to say.
So do you know what the permanent intention is?
No, I don't really know.
Okay.
But common sense would tell you that then I leave them there.
I see.
Right?
Okay, I hear you.
Okay, bless you.
Very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's so many things which we think where common sense seems to point in a certain direction, and in fact it leads in another. Let's take this caller. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good morning again. Fasting. Fasting is a self-sacrifice. And fasting is used to, get closer to God. It's a spiritual cleansing and an ethnic cleansing. Fasting is there for you to tell yourself, I'm going to abstain from food because I want to get closer to God. I am fasting for a reason. There's a purpose for fasting.
Yeah, but is that purpose always spiritual? Is that purpose always a spiritual purpose? Is the end result of fasting always to get closer to Christ?
You're breaking up, so I can hardly hear you.
Yeah, but I was asking if in your views, fasting is only or always a spiritual exercise.
Well,
is there always a spiritual element?
Some people does it just because they may say, like people who don't believe in God, they may say, okay, they're not eating or they're sustaining from this to I guess cleanse their body.
Right.
But for the child of God, fasting is a means for us to get closer to God.
Okay.
And we may have a need that we decide, okay, I'm going out to God in fasting about this, because then it's like Moses fasted before he had to go get the Ten Commandments. Jesus himself fasted.
Okay.
Because then there was a need to fast. And fasting is very important, and especially for married people. It's a time where if you're married, like my pastor always reminds us, if you're married, you just don't get up and say, this morning, I'm going on a fast. It's something that you discuss with your partner, because when you go on a fast, you restrain from intimacy. You can't be fasting and having intimacy, because you're cleansing your whole body and spirit, mind, everything. So fasting is important. And it's a mean for a child of God to get closer to God. You have a good day.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I know that people can engage in fasting for different reasons, and you can have fasting where you abstain from a certain activity or certain type of food. But let's take this caller. Hello?
Hello, Brother Blake.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, that is what I was just going to say, what you just say. Fasting for many different reasons. Every night I fast. When you tell me, let's drop down and I go and sleep, I'm fasting until I wake up. But I'm fasting in an unconscious state of mind.
Yeah, but...
Right, anyway. About the boulders over Friggy Bay. When the house that is built on Friggy Bay Beach in the water, the house never put down there overnight, blam, a house make. They had to prepare the area for the house to go down there. They had to dig out footing and put in footing.
Mm-hmm.
So, anybody now come and look at that and think them boulders going to stay so? It's only common sense, like my partner said.
Okay.
They just waste them there, and when they finish, when they have enough now to start the packing, then they're going to put them in proper position.
So, I have the same question for you. Do you know what the permanent aim, what the ultimate intention is with respect to the boulders on the beach?
Okay. The ultimate intention is that the whole beach has been washed away with high tides all the years. And so when you come off the grass and you step to the edge of the water, it's pure cobblestone you're feeling under your foot.
Mm-hmm. So
according to the minister of over there, he said what they're going to do, they're going to refurbish the beach. So when they don't pack the boulders them is what you call water breakers. Keep the hard pressure from coming in the shore and washing out the beach. Mm-hmm. And then over there, they're going to refill it with sand. So they're gonna what you call it, reface it, make the beach like how it used to be. That is how it is. So they're far from finishing with those boulders.
Seems like they're just starting, as a matter of fact. Seems like they're just starting.
Seems like they just start.
Yeah, you said they're far from finishing. I'm saying it's a process that has just started actually.
Okay. Well, a couple of months ago.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you finish, You know, people gonna say, me, I know when I saw you gonna look. You know, just like we building a house. When they start come about the earth with the foot in, you hear them, but they're small, eh? And when the house complete, they say, boy, you know, when such a big house could hold you.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Yeah, you have a good day. Okay?
Yeah, you too, man. Let's take another caller. Hello.
Good day, Mr. Blake.
Morning, sir.
Yes. This discussion on the Frigate Bay is instructive in that it begs a number of questions. Whatever happened to the Freedom of Information Act that was promised, that was proposed and promised, right? We shouldn't have any problem accessing information on projects like these. And why, before any major project, the people who are going to be impacted are not consulted? That's the best practice. That's best practice in most progressive countries. Right? They don't undertake any major activity before the residents in the area are consulted. All right? The current project may be a good one. Okay, I hope an EIA has been done. Okay, I think that a similar one is proposed for Fires Bay as well. Okay, but before all these things are done, the public should have access to information on exactly the scope of the works and what impact it's going to have on the area. All right. Certainly, the beach needs protecting so that it can survive hurricane surge and erosion and that sort of thing. I guess the stones will be used for a breakwater. Hopefully, that breakwater is submerged. Okay, so that you don't spoil the scenery and the picturesque look that area has right now. Okay.
Or the enjoyment of the water.
Hello?
Or the enjoyment of the water, if they are not submerged to a certain depth.
Right. It can be submerged. Let's say it's just below the surface at high tide. Okay. That will still protect the beach and prevent the sand from being pulled out again. Mm-hmm. All right. So I mean, it might be a good project, but tell us what's going on, because what is particularly galling about it, is that another house at the other end of the beach, right, was built, and many railed against it quite correctly, okay, about how can you go and build on the beach like that. And now we're about to do the same thing, and worse, because we're pulling down or excavating part of the hill to make what you said was some kind of reclaimed area to put up more construction. And if that landslide in Frigate Bay was anything to go by, we should be very cautious, very careful about these man-made projects like that.
So, are you speaking factually that the hill is being torn down and more land being created for the purpose of...
No. It seems as some kind of excavation is going on by the hill, just nearby.
So it's what you suspect, but it's not confirmed. It's nothing that you can confirm.
No, but you can see it. Okay. Drive across there and you can actually see where they've...
Well, of course you can see that, but the question is what's going to happen.
I guess to put in roads, because I understand villas or something going to go up there.
Well, that's what I'm asking about.
Right, and I'm saying that you should be very careful about disturbing nature like that.
Yes.
Okay, but it goes back, like I said, to at this hour now coming to talk about going for information that should have been presented a long time ago. And as you said, we should not just continue to accept these kinds of to me, it's dismissive and disrespectful to just get up and start a project like that and then tell anybody. No, you don't do things like that. Not in a progressive country. All right? So let's hope, it started already. It's a fait accompli, so to speak. Okay? But we can't just keep on accepting things like that. This is no way to do things. And people should be outraged by it, because if it's sure it's Frigate Bay, right? But it can be any other place that things like this are done. Okay? And a lot of people might not be affected because it's just Frigate Bay. But it can happen anywhere else. And so we should sit up all sit up and take notice and demand that things be done in a more transparent and more consultative way. Okay? And don't tell me it's a good thing you raised the issue about the lawn, the Frigate Bay lawn there. I want to see if somebody can actually do something like what was mentioned. They would have got to be crazy, you know. Anyway, that's just my thought.
Thank you, and that's what we encourage here. People expressing their thoughts. We don't have to agree with anything, certainly not with everything the person says. Let's take this caller. Hello.
Yes, again, it's me. I just want to, because people are listening, right, and Culture made a comment that when he's sleeping, he fasts every night when he's sleeping. And because people are listening, I don't know if he's joking or joking. When you're sleeping, you're not fasting because you go to sleep and you're eating your sleep. So that is not fasting.
I agree.
So I just want to make that clear because when the world is listening and we don't want to give people wrong information.
Okay.
You have a blessed day. Fasting is a sacrifice. When you go to sleep and you're not eating, because you're not eating, you're not sacrificing anything. You have a good day.
Yeah, definitely fasting is something that one undertakes consciously and deliberately. So sleeping cannot, I thought he was being facetious really, so that's why I didn't comment on it. But fasting is something which one undertakes having thought about it in a very deliberate manner. Let's take this other caller. Hello?
Yeah. Fasting is keeping things away from your mouth for a while. Okay, I don't need that. Brother Blake,
yeah, go ahead.
You must not tell lies, especially when you are consciously aware. What are you going to say? In 2009, no, 2004, sorry, November, a politician get up on the platform and he said that he will give to the workers, who work in the sugar industry, X amount of land and other things from the sugar, from the year they put in the sugar. Another politician come behind and say, no study heat. You want to take bread out of your mouth. That sugar industry will close over my dead body. Well, 4 months after he mentioned that, who closed it? He closed the sugar industry and he did not consult the nation that he don't close it. He come out and he tell us say he ain't gonna close. So what the people must do? They believe what he tell them. So when he come back later and when he kill it, that was informing the nation? Why some people have come on and tell us and they don't know what to say? No, you ask, you ask about, the person said he see them grading off a hill. And he went down the road that they should not doing this or whatnot. And you say, well, you ask them if they could confirm what they're going to do. They say, no, they see it, they grade it off. You have to know what's going on before you confirm it. I am one always criticize the house that was built on the beach and it's still over there. And direct information from the people who are responsible for the development of the place. It is said from many of them that they suggested that cannot be done. And some big person say, look, you put it there, I tell you put it there. So where was the information to the nation? A partner, don't be one-sided, man.
Yeah,
come on.
Alright.
God don't like liars.
But, Culture.
Yeah.
Listen, if a mistake is made, and sometimes a particular action is undertaken, a deliberate action, and we find that it was wrong, do we have the right to repeat that wrong simply because that wrong was perpetrated earlier?
No.
In other words, just a minute.
No, but
let me finish. Should we repeat an error? We recognize something that was done was done in error. In other words, it was not the correct thing to do. Why should we 10, 20, 40 years later repeat that thing and say, well, it was done 20, 30 years ago, or it was wrong then? We are going to do it now because we have the right to do it now.
No,
that's what you're saying.
Wrong is wrong. I mean, I care who vexed. I tell you, look, that was wrong, and it's still wrong, go come down. But what is he saying the government doing wrong? Putting the boulders over there to resurface the beach?
Right.
That can't be wrong. They're protecting the land and improving the environment for the people who do business there. Okay, thank you, Brother Blake.
Thank you. We need to remember, ladies and gentlemen, that even though we have the right to do something, does that make it right? Now you're going to ask the question, who or what determines something is right? But let's repeat that. Even though we have the right to do something, does not make that thing right. And I believe, I've always argued from the time I was in sixth form that many human wrongs are committed in the name of human rights. Many wrongs are committed in the name of human rights. So we have to be careful how we proceed with that. We have another call at the moment.
I just wanted to know that fasting, when you fast, when you're sleeping, it's an automatic fast, you're gone in because you're not eating anything. But when the biblical fast is a deliberate thing, when we want,
of course,
for personal, for spiritual reasons, a deliberate thing.
Yeah, but culture cannot be right when he said fasting is keeping something from your mouth. That definitely cannot be accepted. As the lady correctly said, people sometimes fast, married couples fast from sex. Yeah, you know, you're not putting anything in your mouth, I hope, with respect to that. Let's take another caller. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I gather you're talking about the biblical fast?
Well, we're talking about fasting. A gentleman had called, and he was suggesting that men need to fast in order to contribute to their lives being healthier and living longer. But
okay,
we didn't have time for him to complete that thought. So I was asking him to call back this morning. But of course, you're free to make your input with respect to your beliefs.
I will try to do it on the two.
Sure.
Yes, I would subscribe to that people, need to do some more fasting. But I'm more inclined on the biblical fasting, the reason why you fast.
Okay.
Because fasting is not just to afflict your soul or your body. You must have a reason why you fast. Now, the Bible type of fast supposed to be a deliberate fast. But one caller said that when you sleep in your fasting, that's an automatic fast. Because when you're sleeping, you don't eat when you're sleeping. But the one that the Bible is talking about, it should be a conscious and deliberate fast, and for a reason, not just don't eat. That when you don't eat like that is a hunger strike. And you ain't got no reason. So if I walk up to you, Mr. Blake, and you tell me, well, I am fasting, and I say, why are you fasting? You must be able to tell me something.
Of course.
You must have a reason, not just because you just want to.
Fasting becomes a means to an end.
Beg your pardon?
Fasting should be a means to an end.
Right. So I am saying now, on the biblical side of it, you supposed to be deliberate in doing it, knowing why you are doing it and expecting results. That's my take on it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Alright, but we know that lots of persons, non-spiritual persons, engage in fasting. In fact, we've been hearing some doctors recommending fasting as a means of improving health. And of course, we have too much obesity in the world, too much obesity in St. Kitts, too many men in particular with abdominal obesity in particular, too many big bellies as it were. We wonder whether fasting could help to alleviate some of that problem there. Let's take this caller. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
With that conversation on the freedom of information, one cannot blame the giver of the information if the receiver of the information is sleeping when the information is given. Because I remember quite well, relative to the frigate situation, that the Minister of Tourism, Mr. Grant, spoke quite eloquently about the project that they have going over there, how long it was going to take, the approximate costs and that sort of thing. I don't know if he wanted the public to have an input to say, well, yes, you can do it or you can't do it or something of the sort. But that has not been the practice when projects are being done. That, yes, you let the persons who are being affected know about it. That would be the people on the strip and the hotel over there and that sort of thing. But the general public, they have the knowledge that it will be done, and there have been lots of follow-up information on the radio talking about the movement of stones in the area and that sort of thing. But there was information given about the project, the breakwater, and the rehabilitation of the beach and that sort of thing. So I don't understand what the person is saying. But then again, let's look at Old Road. It's the same thing was done for the Old Road project, that the reason why a new road had to be built 50 feet out to sea because of the roads, the rocks falling off the hill and that sort of thing. And the Patches Liebert at the time, the minister at the time, gave that relative information in a broadcast. But he didn't go into all the technical description, like how much stone is going to be used, and ask for public opinion of can we use this kind of stone or can we use that gravel. I don't know if that is what the critical caller was wanted, but information wasn't given on all of these projects, including the around the island, the resurfacing of the island main road. So I don't understand what the guy was saying when he said that no information was given. If you're sleeping, let him continue to sleep. Thank you.
All right, so I guess this last caller's position is that the information was given in sufficient depth and detail to warrant, well, not to warrant any further questions. I'm not so sure if that is entirely correct, because I think that even if information is given, and information was in fact given, he's correct, one has the right to seek further information. Let's take another caller. Sorry, before we do that, we're going to take a station break and come right back.
Did you sell? You know it's a vibe, brand new life is a promise. Steady striving for more, no more limitations. Passionate communication, reaching every heart to the generations. Innovation all for the community, proud to bring unity. It's a movement with a new source of energy. This is what freedom feels like. It's the best, I hope the world to take you higher. Connected together.
Math and folklore. Experience the vibrancy of Sugar Mass 49 digitally, anytime, anywhere. Stay connected on our social media platforms by subscribing to our YouTube channel and liking our Facebook page SAN Carnival for updates on live virtual events, competitions, and much more. Carnival celebrations redefined for Sugar Mass 49. Strict COVID-19 health and safety protocols will be observed.
Available at IC Jewelers.
Celebrate the holiday spirit with treasured gifts from Pandora Jewelry. Find a holiday gift for the one in your heart. Rings and earrings with timeless sparkle, or charms that keep her loved ones close. Exquisitely crafted holiday gift sets starting at $99. Shop Pandora Jewelry today for the perfect holiday gift that captures the magic of the season. Gift sets available while supplies last. See store for details.
Visit IC Jewelers today or call 466-5853 and take advantage of our pre-Black Friday 35% off special every day.
We're back with you on Frank and Candid. Right, we have a caller. Let's take him or let's take her. Hello? Hello?
Mr. Blake?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, yes. Mr. Blake, I want to make a contribution to your program today.
Please do.
For a long time, I have been advocating for a second road coming from the Brimstone Hill. You have one road that is serving up and down. It would be nice to have another road on the northwest, because there's a lead to a house and you can continue that lead down on the flat and meet up to the estate road. I have noticed some very big stones going back to the old road project. I hope now that they are talking about carrying some big stones over at Frigate Bay, I hope that they would not be able to run out of that type of stone work when they come around to the fact of doing the Brimstone Hill second road. I think they should start on it now, because it is so important if we are going to keep the tourist industry.
Yeah, Mr. Rush.
Hello.
Could you be so kind as to explain again briefly the second road, the what you envisage, the location of it?
Now, if you go to the Brimstone Hill Park where they have functions,
of course,
yes, and you look west, you will see a lead road to a 2-story building. But shortly after it is cut, I am saying that lead road should continue right down to the flat. But it would need the stones which we are using over at Frigate Bay and elsewhere. Before they run out, we need to have that road fixed. It's very, very important.
Okay, I'm going to go to Brimstone Hill on the weekend just to confirm.
Just to see that, that's right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Actually, I think that would be an excellent idea. I mean, if we were to have one road leading up and one road leading down, one direction only, that would be excellent. I mean, a lot of problems will be solved. And ease of access, ease of traffic, we reduce the risk of accident by 1 million, and so on. So that would be a very good idea if that were to be, if it were feasible. All right, let's take another caller. Hello.
Yes. I'd like to get on the program.
Yes, you're here. You're on.
Hello.
You're on.
Oh, I'm on.
You bet.
Okay. Yeah. There's something about fasting, right? Is it a recommended medical procedure? For we know that fasting has bad consequences,
Is that a fact?
Hello?
That statement is that's a factual statement?
We know that if someone goes on a hunger strike, for instance, to make a point, whatever point it is, we know what can eventually happen to them.
Right, but that's different from fasting.
So you're saying fasting is controlled?
Well, it certainly can be, and hunger strikes normally have a political end. Fasting, on the other hand, has physical and spiritual dimensions largely attached to them.
Yeah, but I think that the physical result of it, isn't it the same?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that's my view. I believe that since the mind is the master of the man, I think that if your purpose is in a particular direction, that governs everything else that happens. That's my view.
Oh, okay.
You know? This is why I encourage people to think positively.
That's interesting.
This is why I encourage people to think positively. This is why what's his name? The Power of Positive Thinking. Norman Vincent Peale. That is why his book sold trillions.
To see someone who can survive. Well, they can survive for a long time without food. They can't survive for very long without water.
We know that.
Right? And regardless of what the mind might be thinking, right? The consequences are going to be the same.
Yeah, but Mr. You're a fellow who would know that there are persons who drink quinine, they drink cyanide, they drink strychnine, and they are very much alive to talk about it. I believe if I were to put a sip of that to my mouth, like those who follow Jim Jones in Guyana, cyanide, for example, potassium cyanide, I would die. So, you know,
I don't think the medical profession here would like that kind of example.
Okay.
Right? But I'm glad that you debunked the argument that is used too often here. Well, it was done before, so we can do it now, right? And you know, because it's overused and it's really not a logical argument. And with regards to boulders, I do think that they are going to move them. They are going to move them out, pack them out in the sea, right? They're obviously not going to stay on the beach, right? But the thing about the information coming before concerned the strip and protecting the beach, not building villas and constructing a marina. Those were additions that came after, all right? And so I maintain that it is extremely important that government or whoever the developer is, it doesn't have to be government. I remember when the current, what we used to call Jacta, Royal St. Kitts Hotel, they were doing some additions and they actually called the residents of the area to a meeting to explain what they were planning to do. Right? That was a private developer. The government should be following the lead in that, doing the same thing. If you have a major development explain it to the people before, not after or during you launch the project. That is the point. Okay?
Okay.
All right, then.
Thank you. It cannot be again said that this government does in fact communicate with the people, that they do share information with us, and we appreciate that. That cannot be denied. No man in his right mind would say that that does not happen. But at the same time, we cannot dismiss those individuals who are saying, hey, we would like some more information with respect to a particular activity or a particular development. Nothing is wrong with that either. But certainly we do accept and express our gratitude to the current government and to governments past as well for sharing with us relevant bits of information, so as to and when you do that, of course, then you stand a better chance of getting people to support you. Let's take this caller. Hello.
Yes, your last caller, Moses fasted for 40 days and 40 nights without food or water, and he didn't die because he was on a mission.
Right.
And yes, when you do some medical, sometimes when you have to go to medical procedure, they would tell you fast, don't eat. And that they say after 12 o'clock, do not eat. If you're going to do a lab test, because then what happens is that sometimes the food show up, especially if you have to go do EKG or go get scanned. They tell you do not eat after midnight. And that is because they want to see everything. They don't want to see what you eat in your body. So we have to fast for different reasons, but the spiritual point for me is cleansing my body and cleansing my spiritual body and getting closer to God, and we fast to make petitions for other people. So there's a lot of reason why we fast as children of God, but the main thing is to get closer to our daddy. You have a blessed day.
I seem to recall, Daddy, that there's somewhere in the Bible that says certain responses you only get by fasting.
Yes.
What to that effect?
Yes, when the apostles couldn't cast out the demon.
Right.
And they asked him how come it wasn't happening. He says certain things. These things come not by only by
fasting.
Prayer and fasting.
Okay,
yes.
fine. All right, thank you. We have another caller?
Yeah, man.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for Jazzy and you and my Connecticut friend. You all straighten out the fasting business and lawyer Gata James.
Okay, then.
Now, every citizen has the right to own a passport of the country where they're born. Now, if anybody going to take out the name of the country where you're born with your passport, shouldn't the nation be informed, educated about that before it was done? I don't need that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let's take another caller, because we don't want to rehash that. We want to do things here that edify and uplift. Let's take this caller. Hello? Hello? You've lost him or her? Okay. Well, we're getting close to the end anyway. I still would have liked my friend, the guy, the gentleman who had called in and had started to talk about fasting, but time ran out on him. I really would like to hear his perspective with respect to how can fasting for men contribute to greater life expectancy. I really wanted to be able to establish the link there, because when I read, for example, that COVID, this current bad man virus COVID, is killing far more men than women. In fact, in some states of the United States, some of the states that comprise the USA, men are dying up to 5 times, I understand in one state up to 8 times as fast as women from COVID. Now, generally, from all cases of morbidity, men die earlier than women. That is what we have established. That's a fact. But with respect to COVID in particular, far more men than women are dying. And sometimes twice as many, 3 times as many. The question is why? Why is this so? If you want to tell me that it's diet, I am going to suggest that apart from alcohol, which I believe men tend to drink in more voluminously than women, the diet of women and the diet of men are basically the same. If you tell me it's risky behavior, then I would want to agree with you there. But the question is, why are we men and not women, why are we men and not women dying in so much greater numbers than women from COVID as from other diseases? We don't have enough time to properly and thoroughly ventilate that, and I would certainly have to have a medical doctor here to give us that perspective, which will be critical, but it's something to think about. And this is why we're very happy that you think it's. There has not been one mortality from COVID, because a lot of us are afraid that if persons were to start, it will begin with men, and we don't want that. So we don't want it to begin with women either. But we certainly appreciate that men begin to take better care of themselves, including their health. And just one last statistic before we have a caller. Okay, I noticed, there was a lot of talk, ladies and gentlemen, that COVID affects and afflicts older people much more so than younger. Well, I was just learning that the latest 16 cases in St. Lucia, only one individual is 85 years old. The closest to that is 58 years old. All the others are 58. All the others are below. In fact, quite a number of them are in their 20s and 30s and 40s. And one 6-year-old girl. Only one of these new 16 cases is an elderly person at 85. Nobody is in his 60s, 70s, and one person at 58, and all the others are below that. So hey, that's another myth we have to bust. COVID does not attack any particular demographic with respect to age. All of us have to be careful. All of us have to do the right thing. All of us have to follow the protocol. All of us have to stay safe. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being. You have time for one more call? Okay, hello. This is our final call for the day. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you have 30 seconds.
Hello?
Yes, Hunks, you have 30 seconds.
I'm going to be short.
You have to be, yes, we'll have to.
I used to fast.
Right.
Every time I box 77 times. 77 times I enter the boxing ring. And on the day before my boxing, I used to fast.
Okay.
I used to fast just the day before my boxing. I started from about midday. I don't eat nothing until the next midday.
Okay.
When I used to box.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to end on that note. Fasting helps. Thank you for being a part of Frank and Candid today. Until we meet again, please do the right thing.
My favorite time of year is Christmas.
Advertise on ZIZ Radio, ZIZ Television, Big Wave, and our online platforms to reach more customers this holiday season. Let ZIZ tailor a holiday advertising solution to meet